Hey guys, today's video is for Wednesday the 27th of May. We are starting with the workout today, which is a bit of a longer workout, and then we'll hit a midline finisher afterwards. So the workout is 3 rounds of 30 deadlifts, 30 handstand push-ups, 30 box jumps, and 30 dips to an object. Fair bit of volume there, guys. 3 rounds is going to take a little while, but I'm expecting around the 20-minute mark. I want you to set yourself a 25-minute Mercy cap. Don't really want you working for longer than 25 minutes with this volume. But most of you guys are, depending on how you scale it, of course, you should be around the 20-minute mark is what I'm expecting. So then we've got this midline finisher, like I said. We've got 5 sets of 45-second plank and a 15-second rest. So by the end of the 5 minutes of planking, you're going to be pretty tight in the midline, and those abs are going to be pretty sore. So guys, the warm-up for today is 3 rounds of 10 good mornings, a 20-second handstand hold, and 5 burpee broad jumps. Okay, so to just recap, 10 good mornings, hands on the chest, throwing the butt back and feeling out the hemis. A 20-second handstand hold, so throw yourself upside down or get yourself in a pike push-up position, and warm up the shoulders, and then 5 burpee broad jumps, which is a burpee and then going for a jump out of it. Hit the warm-up, guys, and I'll see you in a minute. Cheers. Hey guys, now that you come back from the warm-up, I just want to do a little bit more moving, a little bit more mobility, and then we'll get into the workout. So I want you to go for 15 windmills. So that's this movement here. So straight arms, and we're going for some toe or ankle or shin touches as far as you can go. Try and keep the knees, the legs reasonably straight. If you need to, put a slight bend in the knee. And from here, we're going down for a foot touch. This is a great mobility exercise where we're warming up the shoulders a little bit, warming up the hips, rotating our pelvis, and warming up the hemis as well. So go for 15 of them. Once you've done that, I want you to go for 10 leg swings on both legs. With your leg swings, just make sure you go full range of motion. And do both legs. And don't fall over because you're only wearing socks. And then, guys, we want to do a fair bit of arm swings as well. So let's go for some back slaps. And then some over and behinds. Awesome, team. Once you've done that, you're ready to get into the movements. Right, guys, I just want to cover off on the movements for our workout. So there's a fair few variations that we can go through with all these movements. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate them, and depending on what weight you've got, how you're feeling, and how accessible your house is will depend on what you can do. So with the deadlift, you can go for a sumo deadlift. So nice wide stance, shins vertical at the bottom, and coming down to the ground like this. So you can go for a sumo deadlift, or you could actually go for more of a neutral deadlift stance and just weight to one side. So you could go for that position as well. Cool. So if you're going for that position, make sure it feels a bit like deadlift, less like a squat. Cool? So make sure we're still hinging at the hips, throwing that butt back, and we're trying to keep our shins reasonably vertical at the bottom also. So, and the other thing would be make sure definitely sharing the load, hitting both sides, and depending on what weights you got will depend on whether that's feasible for you or not. It will be a bit more taxing to go off the center versus sumo style. Sweet, so that's the deadlift, guys. If you've got a barbell, obviously use a barbell and build to a moderate weight. It is 90 reps in total. If we were in the gym, probably be programmed at like 80 kilos. So if you're not quite RX, maybe down to 60, 50, 40, that kind of thing for males, and for ladies it would be around the RX would be around the 65, and then down around the 40, 35, 30, something like that, guys, if you want something a bit lighter. But that's just general ideas, just see how it feels and how you feel on the day. So that's the deadlifts. Handstand push-ups, guys. I'm going to quickly cut in here with a snippet of some handstand push-ups, but if you don't quite have a handstand push-up, you can go for some pike handstand push-ups, which I've demoed before. If you don't have a box, you can do a pike push-up, which is just something you can do on the ground. You can go out on your tippy toes, and from here, trying to keep your legs reasonably straight, trying to get your torso reasonably vertical, and aiming for the top of your noggin on the floor. So that's the pike press. You can add a you can obviously do this off any object, making sure it's nice and sturdy. And you can go out on your toes. I'm not sure if this esky is long enough, but we'll give it a go anyway. So the idea is to try and get your torso vertical as much as possible, and it'll depend whether you can go up on your knees or up on your toes, depending on your mobility and flexibility. So then there's of course just a handstand push-up, where hopefully you've got a wall you can throw your legs up. If you're totally not comfortable on getting upside down today, go for a push press, and go for a reasonably heavy push press, because it's 30 reps, so go for 15 on each side, or go for something a bit lighter if you've only got a lighter weight, and increase the rep range to about 45, 50, something like that. Cool, guys? So that's the handstand push-ups. You've got box jumps. Hopefully you've got a box or something you can jump on. So this is my esky, works great for box jumps. If you don't have something sturdy like that, maybe step-ups, or you could do toe touches, where you just bring your leg up and add some flexion, where you're really pressing into that front leg and you're driving that weight in, not enough to damage whatever you're standing on. You can do this for many things, guys. If you've just got a shelf, you just want to put your toe on and just put a little bit of tension on, that's still going to be reasonably difficult. You can do that, or if you wanted to just get rid of box jumps completely and go for some high knees, that's going to be incredibly gassy and hard. So if you wanted to go for something like this, increase the reps to about 50 but rather than 30. That should be plenty for you guys. Someone's got to be able to find something to do there. And then 30 dips to finish off. So just using the same object, hopefully, that you're jumping on, and you can go for some dips straight off the back of it. And you can go for a dip here off the back of it, or if you've got two objects, set yourself up in between them and have your hands beside you versus behind you. It's a bit more of an effective push, and it will drive the correct muscles better. Driving out of our dip is going to be our chest, triceps, with the dip, guys, for scaling options, you can have your legs way up here, and this would be RX, and you can start bringing in your legs to make it more scaled. Cool? So obviously don't worry about whether you're RX or not. No one's got RXs anyway, because you're at home in your own gyms. So It's more about what's accessible to you. So that's the dips. Hopefully you can find something that works for you, whether it's a chair, bench, anything along those lines. If you've got rings, use rings. Don't know how many people have rings. Sweet guys, that is us. It is 3 rounds. Hit this workout with everything you got. Have fun with it. Remember setting a time cap for about 25 minutes. I wouldn't, that'd be a mercy cap. But I reckon around the 20-minute mark, some of you will absolutely smash it and get it under that as well. But yeah, don't go for longer than 25 minutes. That's going to really get a bit dreary around that time. Awesome. See you soon in a minute, guys. Righto, guys, just want to cover off on the midline finisher. So we're going for 5 sets of a 45-second plank, and you've got 15 seconds rest. So what I would do is set a 5 rounds of an EMOM, and just watching an upward time or a downward time or whatever, and just pausing for 15 seconds rest at the end. If you find 15 seconds is too easy, definitely feel free to crank this up a little bit, guys. But I feel like most people doing 5 sets of 45 seconds plank with only 15 seconds rest in between, it's going to be pretty bloody sore in the midline and going to be pretty gassed by the time they finish. So just to recap on the plank, guys, the plank is down on the elbows, squeezing the midline in a nice stacked position. So you don't want to be dropping the hips, you don't want to be pushing up with the hips, you want to be nice and stacked and straight. Squeezing the midline. You can drop the knees and still have a reasonably similar stimulus. That way we're squeezing that midline nice and tight, so you can still do that. Hit it with all you got, guys, and I will see you in a minute. Righto, guys, I want to hop down on the ground and go for a, on your back, and go for a lumbar stretch. So 1 foot on the knee and roll out the back. I want to hang out here for a good while, guys, and make sure you hit both sides. Then rolling over onto your front, hit a scorpion stretch on both sides. And from here, hit downward dog, do some calf walkouts, and make sure you stretch out the hamstrings. They're going to be pretty tight, guys. And from there, you might want to finish up with a chest stretch. So that's us for today, guys. Hope you had a good workout. Pretty big one, 3 rounder. So I'll see you on Thursday, guys. Have a good night.